A very good morning. This presentation is brought to you by Resonate International with a mission to leverage knowledge worldwide. The topic being covered is when soul discovers creation's language. Ladies and gentlemen, every human movement is already part of a vast conversation. Sunlight enters the earth, breath moves between atmosphere and living beings, food becomes energy, emotions travel from heart to heart, and a thought can alter an entire course of action. Much of this communication happens silently, yet it is happening continuously through exchange. Behind the visible movement of creation lies an extraordinary language, ancient and universal, operating across distances beyond human imagination and within spaces as intimate as a human cell. That language is energy. Finite human life is woven into an infinite creation, orchestrated through the fundamental dimensions of space, time and energy. Galaxies exchange light across unimaginable distances. Stars release energy into space. Planets receive, transform and redistribute this energy. On earth, sunlight becomes the foundation for ecosystems. Plants transform it into chemical energy, and living beings participate in an endless chain of receiving, transforming and sharing. From the intergalactic scale to the smallest living system, exchange keeps creation in motion. Energy, in its many forms, becomes the silent language through which creation communicates. The human soul carries a remarkable biological interface for participating in this language. The brain, powered by an inner energy system involving physical, mental, emotional, spiritual and aspirational dimensions. Senses receive signals from the surrounding world. The brain interprets them, connects them with memory and meaning, and generates thought, emotion and response. Energy enters through nourishment, breath, sunlight, sensory experience and relationships. It is transformed within and it is expressed again through attention, action, emotion, speech and presence. The human energy system therefore becomes part of a much larger exchange, microcosm communicating continuously with macrocosm. Science reveals many visible expressions of this universal exchange. Photons carrying energy, electromagnetic waves traveling across space, particles interacting, neural signals moving through the brain, and countless biological processes transferring energy from one form to another. Much remains to be understood, while the scale of what is already understood is extraordinary. Yet the deeper insight comes when these separate observations begin converging into one simple recognition. Exchange is woven into the architecture of creation. Every receiving changes something. Every transformation prepares another exchange. Every sharing becomes part of a larger movement. This understanding gives prayer a deeply meaningful place within the human journey. Prayer can become an intentional movement of inner energy, beginning with awareness, moving toward alignment and attunement, and opening into communion. The mind becomes quieter, emotional energy becomes coherent, and attention becomes increasingly refined. In that state, prayer becomes more than words spoken outwardly. It becomes conscious participation in a deeper relationship between the human soul and the divine. As communion deepens, trust, faith, and companionship become increasingly experiential. Resonance then emerges, a state in which the inner energy dynamos begin moving together. The inner sun becomes more empowered and the inner compass becomes increasingly aligned with the divine compass. Perhaps the most illuminating discovery is that the language of creation requires no translation. It is already being received through every breath, every ray of light, every sensation, every emotion, and every moment of connection. The deeper question becomes the quality of listening. A human soul that becomes aware of this exchange begins to see ordinary moments differently. Receiving becomes gratitude, sharing becomes responsibility, attention becomes connection, and prayer becomes communion. The world around becomes less a collection of separate events and more a continuous conversation in which every soul is already participating. What's the way forward? There comes a quiet transformation when the recognition that energy is the silent language of creation moves from the mind into the heart. The sun becomes more than a source of light. Breath becomes more than respiration. Compassion becomes more than emotion. Prayer becomes more than words. Each becomes a doorway into a larger exchange, a reminder that the energy moving through one life belongs to a creation far greater than that life alone. In such awareness, the inner compass begins to feel the direction of a greater intelligence, and the journey becomes less about searching for connection and more about recognizing the connection that has always been present. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, in the revered Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna offers a profound reassurance for this state of inner communion. Drop all grief and every worry. Rest your mind completely in the divine shelter. Perform righteous action with devotion. In this lies freedom from all past errors and the divine promise of transformation and life's fulfillment. Perhaps this is where the silent language of creation becomes truly personal. Every soul arrives already carrying a spark of divine intelligence, already breathing within an immense field of energy, already receiving, transforming, and sharing. The awakening comes when that silent exchange is recognized, when the heart begins to hear what the senses have been receiving all along. Then creation feels less distant, prayer feels more intimate, companionship with the divine feels more real, and each moment acquires a quiet sacredness. The soul discovers that it was never outside the great conversation. It was a participant in it all along. And perhaps the deepest enlightenment is simply this: to recognize the language that creation has been speaking silently through energy since the beginning of time, and to let the soul answer through conscious living. Good luck, best wishes, and God bless.